Permit me to let you know that when we remember the list of children we have raised in Mabui school, from creme de la creme, we have, I can remember vividly, the likes of Honorable Ifeanyi Okowa, the former governor of Delta State.
Africa! My Africa! Is this your back that is bent?
Success doesn't come calling. I must seek it out. Why must I go to the mountain? Because it is there. All her encouraging words.
I scored 363 in the recently concluded UTME result.
I scored a UTME score of 230.
And I scored 307 in this recently concluded UTME.
Mabui School have actually tried using different apps to help our students. But I want to sincerely say that TestDriller has been a game changer.
My name is Mr. Iguara Anthony. I'm the school principal.
My name is Adibe Chukwuka, Vice Principal Academics of Manam Branch.
My name is Dr. Mrs. Joey Asidi Obiageli Helen, the administrator of Mabui School Primary.
Mabui School was established in 1998, first in Asaba, in Oshimili South local government area of Delta State by Dame Mrs. Henrietta Ifeoma Udume, who was inspired to set up a school. When she served as a core member in Corona School, Lagos, and her vast experience as an assistant director in the Inspectorate Department of the Federal Ministry of Education.
It was while she was serving that the vision of establishing a school like this was actually better than her. Thereafter, she got employed into the Inspectorate Division, Federal Government Inspectorate Division. And then her work in visiting schools, trying to see that everything is done properly, still, inspired her to go back to the vision she had initially when she was serving to establish the school. And so here we are today, a school that the vision behind it is to see students who are morally, academically, and spiritually sound.
Mabui School is one of the best schools in Delta State. And you may ask me why I say that. I served in this school in 2003. And as a youth corps member, I saw what was put on ground. I saw the visioneer, then Mrs. Henrietta Ifeoma Udume, as a woman that is passionate about education. I saw her doggedness, I saw her passion, I saw her humility, I saw her nobility. I saw that she is a different being altogether. And I said, God, if I have children, I will raise my children in the school. And luckily for me, I tarried after 6 years of waiting, I had my children. And I raised my children here. I've told you about my daughter. My son will be graduating next year too. So I'm a beneficiary of the wonderful work she has put in place here.
One thing that we pride ourselves for here in Mabui School is the facilities we have. The school is such that every facility that is needed today for sound education, the school actually has it. We talk of well-equipped labs, not just labs that are for fancy, but labs that are being put into use by the students. The education we run here in Mabui is practical based, and so we have all the facilities for different subjects and their practicals.
Not raising only the intelligent ones, but those ones that are not too intelligent. They know the words of our mommy: if you try and you don't succeed, try again. Her words: success doesn't come calling, I must seek it out. Why must I go to the mountain? Because it is there. All her encouraging words. Then again, no bad word should come out of your mouth, but that which is good only.
Good morning, teachers and students. Good morning, teachers and students. Our words of wisdom.
Success doesn't come calling, I must speak it out.
The second one.
If at first I don't succeed, try again.
And the last one.
Never, ever give up.
Mabui School of Banam is miles apart from other schools because we are driven by excellence, the desire to provide quality education to every child that passes through our gates. Also, we have zero tolerance for examination malpractice. There is moral training for children every morning on the assembly. So this is a school built on a solid foundation. The fear of God is inculcated into every child. And our extracurricular activities are in line with the vision of the proprietress to ensure that every child is holistic. We provide holistic education for every child that comes through our gate.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I will rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise? Because I walk like I've got oil wells, digging in my own backyard. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope, springing high, still I will rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, because I walk like I've got gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I will rise. Does my beauty offend you? Does it come as a surprise? Because I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the hearts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that is rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and of fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that is wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gift that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Yeah, yeah. Tears in my eyes, looking for time. I think we're moving, but this is my life. I think you're for me, but this is a lie. I think you're for me, but this is a lie. Summertime, keep on shining. Everything's big, every night in the rain. All of life, I've been wanting to fade. Yeah, lately I've been moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I've been moving on. No tears, baby, I've been moving on. Lately I've been moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I've been moving on. Yeah. I run too many things in my head. I'm moving too fast, but again, let me pull that whoa. Summertime, summertime, I'm moving too fast, and the last time getting up, dude. What you really want from me? I'm feeling dirty no more. I'm moving like yo. I got a lifestyle, being me. Moving too fast, and they say I'm dope. Maybe one day I'll be finding the way. Maybe one day I will fall to your brain. Maybe one day you'll be falling to my hands, but maybe one day I'll be coming to the race. Maybe one day I'll be moving. One day, one day. Lately I've been moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. You know I'm moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I've been moving on. Tears in my eyes, looking for time. I think you're for me, but this is a lie. I think you're for me, but this is a lie. I think you're for me, but this is a lie. Summertime, keep on shining. Every night in the rain. All my life, I've been looking for fame. Yeah, I've been moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. You know I'll be moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. I've been moving on. I've been moving on. I've been moving on. I've been moving on, for real. I've been moving on. I've been moving on. I've been moving on. I've been moving on, for real. Lately I've been moving on. You know one day I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. I've been moving on. You know one day I've been moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. No tears, baby, I'll be moving on. Yeah. Moving on, moving on. Moving on, moving on. Moving on, moving on. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Mutuluchidin Michael. I'm 16 years of age and I scored 363 in the recently concluded UTME exam.
My name is Igedidaro Ihenchukuku. I am 16 years old. I am from Ika South Delta State and I scored a UTME score of 330.
My name is Dave Daniel Chukufunaya. I am 16 years old. I am the outgoing senior prefect of Mabui School and I scored 307 in this recently concluded UTME. Mabui School has provided us with the necessary educational tools that have helped us to attain the success we all enjoy now, such as after-school lessons and the TestDriller app. That app was introduced to us by our Vice Principal, Mr. Adibichukuka, and was ensured to be installed in every SS3's laptop so that we can always have something to revise questions with.
I had contact practice with the app, especially in the night for a particular period of time. So even though when I did the exam in my CBT center, I still had, I was still feeling that I was doing another CBT exam because I had constant practice with the app.
One of my favorite features of the TestDriller app is the fact that you can view corrections. A step-by-step solution is outlined whenever you fill a question. Another feature that I admired about the TestDriller app was the fact that it gives a real offline CBT-based experience. It enlightened me on how I could use the computers when I was about to write my UTME. It also gave me challenging questions which I was able to conquer with the help of the TestDriller app?
So immediately the app was installed on my laptop. From that day henceforth, I made a vow to myself that every day, once I come back from school or any outing I went for, that I will at least practice the UTME questions on the app. Though it started off very funny for me, because when I started practicing with UTM questions, I was seeing questions that I thought never existed. Honestly, they were difficult, something I wasn't really used to. And my scores weren't what I was expecting, but I told myself that if you want this particular score, this is your dream JAMB score, that you keep going forward. You won't get discouraged no matter what you see. So every day, I would go through the questions, set the timer to 1 hour 30 minutes as against 2 hours from the normal exam time. And anytime after my exams, I would check my subjects in which subject I scored the lowest in and which particular topic in it that I'm lagging behind. I'll go through the questions over and over again with that mindset that if I see these questions in my JAMB, will I be able to solve it? I kept doing that, constantly, to the point that even if the application decided to repeat a question in another year, I was able to get it. So that kept on going. My scores were improving, though they weren't the score I was hoping for in JAMB, but they were better than before.
Mabui School have actually tried using different apps to help our students, but I want to sincerely say that TestDriller has been a game changer. We started using TestDriller 4 years ago. So what we do is that once the students get to third term SS2, we actually install the TestDriller apps into their laptops and their phones. Now, what are the benefits we actually get? One is that it gives the student room to actually see questions that are standard and up to date. That's the first thing we derive. Now, the second thing is that it teaches our students time management, because the students can actually set exams to their own pace. A child who is slow can actually start with times that are much higher and then gradually move to shorter time. So this helps them work with time when it comes to exam. Then for our teachers, we have a question bank where teachers can actually go to get questions for the students for the setting of their exams. So these are ways in which the TestDriller app has actually been of benefit to Mabui School.
TestDriller has done so much for the children in Mabui School. The first time I heard of TestDriller was through my daughter last year when it was installed in her laptop, and every day she kept, studying the questions. And let me tell you, it really helped her when she wrote her UTME exam. She did very well, and today she's studying medicine and surgery in Unidale, and she's really doing well. Her last semester exam, she also confirmed that through TestDriller, she did very well. She had all A's. 5.00 was what she made last semester, and we're proud of Mabui School. And TestDriller has also helped many children in this school. They are really doing well in preparation of their exam, in competitions too. So I think that is a welcome development.
My name is Daniel Alien, and I'm the CEO of IF South Limited, the maker of the TestDriller app. What's our mission in TestDriller? Our mission is to create tools and resources that empowers students to learn effectively and also pass excellently in their exams. And I want to take the word learn effectively. I want you to take that word, because the goal of what we do in TestDriller is to make students learn effectively. And I'm going to show you how we've taken concepts in science and how we've taken those principles in developing our application. And these techniques have shown to be effective as we've produced some of the best students in JAMB over the past 3 years. What's an effective learning? To talk about an effective learning, you need to first understand the various modes of learning. We've got passive modes of learning and we've also got active modes of learning. Passive modes of learning includes the following. Number one, being in a lecture hall, listening to a lecture. So that's passive mode of learning. And that has 5% retention rate. What that means is, if you just merely listen to a lecture, you probably remember about 5% of whatever you've learned over a short period of time. Then we've got another passive mode of learning, which involves reading textbooks or reading any textbook or text-based materials, which is about 10% retention level. Then we've got the third passive mode, which is you listening or watching audiovisual materials, like let's say watching a video lecture, which has about 30% retention rate. All of these are passive modes of learning. They are important. They are the first phase to learning generally, but the retention level are generally between 5 to let's say 30 to 20%, depending on individuals. Okay, so we have the other modes of learning, which we call the active modes of learning. As regards the various active modes of learning, we've got the following. We've got number one, the seeing or the participation in a demonstration exercise. So let's say you walk into a lab and you actually witness an experiment where someone is explaining buoyancy using actual experiment. You get to increase your retention rate to about 30%, because when you watch a demonstration of a concept, your retention rate is much more higher than mere passively reading about those concepts. Then we've got another active mode known as discussion. So discussion is a very important idea in learning. When you discuss whatever you've learned with someone else, maybe with your friends, with family members, you get to increase your retention level to about 50%, right? So the next is the practicing. So practicing is very key. In fact, practicing has about 75% retention. So what this means is, if you get involved in a practice exercise where you answer quizzes, you answer questions given to you on any concept you've just learned, your retention rate goes up to as high as 75%, and that has been proven by science. Then we've got the last active mode of learning, known as teaching others, where you actively teach people, and that has a very high retention rate of about 90%. So let me now explain how TestDriller incorporates this concept in developing all the features we deliver to our students. One, we provided in our classroom feature, we've got notes for all subjects, and these notes, they are both text-based and audio-visual, right? So the audio-visual is a feature we are about to release, so which is very critical because that has a higher retention rate than the text-based materials. So we've got all that covered in TestDriller. And these materials are organized in a well-structured way, enabling students to digest them in a very, very easy manner. So now let's talk about the active modes of learning in TestDriller. So let's pick the demonstration. So in this coming version of TestDriller, we are releasing an app known as Physics Lab. So the goal of Physics Lab is to enable students learning physics to fully understand certain concepts by watching a simulated experiment. So by watching a simulated experiment, you get to understand the concept better than just merely reading about it. So let's pick an example. So let's say you are learning something about electricity, and let's say you are studying something around Wheatstone Bridge. Imagine being able to see a practical demonstration of Wheatstone Bridge and all the circuits around it. That helps you retain that knowledge way better than merely watching a video or merely reading about it. So that's an active mode of learning that we've incorporated in TestDriller. Then let's talk about the next, which is discussion. We've shown that discussion is also an active mode of learning that could boost retention to about 50%. So how did we solve that in TestDriller? We added what we call the AI tutor. Now, since the students may not be in a physical forum where they talk to their friends, so what we've done is within TestDriller, the students can actually interact with an AI tutor and discuss the concept they've learned. Now, the good thing about discussing concept is a student will be able to fine-tune some of the knowledge they've gathered so far and also clarify some of their doubts too. So by chatting with an AI system, they get to express their thoughts, express their knowledge, and get real-time feedback from the AI tutor. And this has been shown to be very effective in learning. Then we've got practicing. TestDriller has tens of thousands of past questions. from which a candidate or a student can practice rigorously. In fact, we've got questions covering both past questions and model questions. Why do we have model questions? There are some subjects that past questions are not relevant. For example, if you are studying a subject like literature, literature has questions that are out of date because every 4 years or thereabout, they get to change the books that those students get to read. So what we've done is we've added questions that we call model questions that cover all of these new topics that may not exist in past questions. So the TestDriller team, we've taken care of almost every aspect of practicing. So the questions are in abundance. The practice interface is superbly easy to use, and the practice experience is also very, very smooth. And all of these things is to make sure that the retention level of our students get to as high as 75%. Then we also have the educational game. So aside all the regular features, we have what we call educational game. The goal of that educational game is to make learning pleasurable, right? So we don't just want them to just keep learning stuff in a boring way. We want them to learn in a fun way. And that's what the educational game is all about. That triggers pleasure. And if they learn while having pleasure, that's a beautiful thing. And that's an intrinsic motivation. Now, what about the extrinsic motivation? There are some learners that may need extra push to learn. And one of the ways we achieve that is by introducing what we call the UTME challenge or the SSE challenge, depending on the app that the student is currently using. Okay, now let me talk about the UTME challenge. For UTME challenge, the way it's structured is as follows. Every week, let's say from mid-January, let's say till mid-April, we do have what we call a challenge, the weekly competition where students get to compete for a prize. Now, the way it's structured is every week, at the end of each round, we award students with airtime. That airtime is a form of extrinsic motivation. Even if as a student, you don't feel like studying, but the fact that every weekend you're going to get some reward for being among the top 20, that is a very interesting way to motivate them to study and to learn whatever they need to learn to get that award. Then at the end of the UTME challenge, we also award them with 100,000 Naira scholarship award for the top 5 in that UTME challenge. And we also award the top 3 best JAMB using our app as well. So by doing this, we are providing external motivation, enabling them to see reasons why they need to learn. And in most cases, when you provide sufficient external motivation, it turns into intrinsic motivation because over time they begin to have pleasure or they begin to see reasons why they need to study without any external motivation. So the external motivation can be a push for them to eventually develop some sort of internal motivation. And that's intentional because in psychology, it's a form of motivation. And this motivation is very, very powerful. In fact, it is the motivation you see in gamers. When you see somebody playing games all the time, you ask, why are they doing this? They are doing this because they want to get the best new score. They want to get the best new score. And that is the motivation behind why they keep going back. And we've adopted this kind of psychological gimmicks into our app to motivate students to keep coming back and keep beating their own score.
Mabui School has provided us with the necessary educational tools that have helped us to attain the success we all enjoy now.
They have also provided well-trained teachers which help students to succeed as well. And they have also helped me by putting efforts to stay focused on the goal, which I was able to achieve with God's help.
Permit me to let you know that when we remember the list of children we have raised in Mabui School, from crème de la crème, we have, I can remember vividly, the likes of Honorable Ifeanyi Okowa, the former governor of Delta State. The son was in my class, Precious Okowa. We had Marilyn Okowa, who you know, her role in Delta State government. We have a lot of them. We have the likes of Odwanga. We have Clement Ofwani, the children. We have Oswaza. We have Moses Odibo. We had Dombraye. We have Ghana, all their children. Late Samobi. We have them. We have Victor Che, you know, all their children passed through Mabui school. And today some of them are married. And we are still here. That passion, that zeal that Dame Henrietta Ifomo Odume has set for us, the teachers are still following suit.
Africa, my Africa. Africa of proud warriors in ancestral savannas. Africa of whom my grandmother sings on the banks of the distant river. I have never known you, but your blood flows through my veins. Your beautiful black blood that irrigates the fields. Blood of your sweat, the sweat of your work, the work of your slavery. Africa, my Africa. Is this your back that is bent? This back that breaks under the weight of humiliation. This back trembling with red scars and saying no to the whip under the midday sun. But a great voice answers me, impetuous child. That tree, young and strong, that tree over there, that is your Africa. Springing up anew, springing up patiently, obstinately, whose fruits, bit by bit, acquire the bitter taste of liberty.